All right. We are back in Studio K, and I'm joined by Products Band. Before we get started, I'd love a name and instrument intro from everyone.
I'm Joe, and I play guitar and sing in the band.
Jack, bass.
I'm Alex, and I know that I play guitar and sing in the band.
I'm Connor, and I play drums.
Amazing.
In the band.
In the band, of course, not just for fun.
That's what we know.
And we just heard Steady Sugarless, You Bend the Light, Labrack, and Pink Puma. Correct me if I'm wrong, but are these all forthcoming singles that you have, or are some of these older? Are they all being released in the near future?
I will correct you.
Okay.
The first two are new songs. They're brand new.
Okay.
You can't hear the second one. The first one was released today. And then the last two, the first song, Lab Prac, was from Some Sudden Weather, which is a record we put out last year. And then Pink Puma is the title of our debut LP. So we've been playing that song for a really long time.
Mm-hmm. Lovely. So speaking of the new stuff you have coming out, I know that you worked with John Dietrich of Deerhoof on those, which is so incredibly exciting. I'm a huge Deerhoof fan. I can't even imagine what that experience was like. So I'd love to know, like, how you were introduced. How did that, like, come to fruition? How do you just encounter him and all of a sudden it's like, man, you're working together on producing something? Like, that progression is wild.
It's really cool. Yeah, I feel the same way as you. I mean, I think we all really value John, and the story behind meeting him was so we played at the 7th Street Entry a few years ago with this band called Palm, and a band now that is also, I feel like they've blown up in the past year or so, called Water From Your Eyes. We played with them at the Entry, and John was there. So John was just really friendly, and then we got an email just out of the blue saying, "Hey, Deerhoof would like you to play with them in St. Paul and in Chicago." And we were like, Deerhoof wants us to open for it? Like, we were like, all right, that's amazing.
Yeah.
And then they just kept coming, and we played some more shows with them. So we did a little bit of a road thing with them and hung out and met them, and had just become closer and closer friends with John. And John is just a real advocate for all kinds of great music, and really likes our band, and just offered to work with us. And we were like, all right, let's do this. It was like, yeah, I mean, I've been a fan since I was a teenager, so it was like pretty surreal to be like, wow, you're a human person. You're not like some angelic spirit. I mean, he is an angelic spirit.
We get to eat soup together.
Aww.
Yeah, John's a really good cook.
That's true.
It's true.
In the studio and in the kitchen.
Well, that was the first time I'd ever tried borscht, and maybe one of us also was another first time borscht trier. It was you. It was Joe. Yeah.
What did you think of it?
It was good. It was delicious, right?
Yeah.
I said John was a good cook. So it was delicious.
Across the board.
We all agree, and we all are. Yeah, we're huge Deerhoof fans. We're so grateful we got to, work with them, and it's been fun playing shows with them too. They're all like the greatest, you know.
Yeah. Ugh, that's amazing. And were you able to incorporate anything new or different in working with him? Do you feel like he imparted some knowledge onto you that you didn't have before? Like, any highlights of that time, or like big takeaways from just being able to work with him?
No, definitely. I think it was really cool because he made us just feel really comfortable, which is a big thing when you go into like a weird environment, like recording an album or mixing it or anything like that. It feels very unnatural, and I feel like a lot of us really get joy out of like performing and that sort of thing. So getting to have a more, I don't know, kind of comfortable, freewheeling studio experience was fun. We recorded the tracks at the Pearl studio here in Minneapolis with someone named Zach Hollander. So we did tracking there, And we got like a really great sound. And I think on these new songs that we worked with John on, it was more an idea of like, how can we sound more like us on our recordings this time around, and just work with somebody that kind of has like a perspective and a point of view that can be brought to the record that's like outside of just us or just trying to get like a good sounding capture of our performances. So we got to go a little more wild with production choices too, and not be so concerned with like pulling it off live necessarily. Just let it be like a studio creation on some of the songs. So, yeah.
Yeah, cool. And in terms of new things that you got to incorporate, like any new gear or instruments or just like weird things that you got to incorporate that like stick out to you?
Yeah, Jack plays a little piano on some of these new songs, which is fun, or like on at least one of them. And then just playing around with like decaying sounds and more kind of like electronic-y elements, I guess, in some ways. I don't know. Yeah.
Like some MIDI too. Did some like MIDI drums a little bit, and tried to get some other like textures in there.
Yeah, one thing that was really fun about working with John is he's so thoughtful about the kind of plugins that he's using. And for those who are uninitiated, plugins are just effects that you can apply via a computer when you're working with recorded sounds. And he was, I think, kind of speaking to the process. He was so affirmative. Like I won't spoil it, but there's a song where the entire tempo of the song changes and the voices sort of like, it sounds like they're melting, and there's an oscillator, so there's synthesizers, and there's like really awesome transitions. And I think that there is also, I don't know, there's some guitar sounds that we got that I don't know how you could possibly, I mean, I'd have to play out of like a massive stack to reproduce what we were able to get in production. So it was really, I think it was mostly not so much like gear. It's not like I'm like, yeah, we were using this vintage microphone, but it was just taking our sounds and translating them with all these different plugins and tools digitally.
Yeah. I was going to ask too, you said that you feel like working with him, you were able to figure out how to sound more like yourselves. So do you feel like in that aspect, there has been sort of like a progression to your sound as opposed to things you've recorded before, but not even necessarily progression if you just feel it's more like you?
Totally, yeah. No, I think like on those first two songs that we played, and on Steady Sugarless, I'm playing in a tuning that I've never used with this group before. We started working on this batch of songs, and that has just been really fun as a guitarist to explore different voicings of different chords and just a different mood, right? Because as you tune the strings to different pitches, it kind of like evokes maybe a more melancholy or something that's more joyful or whatever you're kind of going for. And I think on these songs, I would say that we're really at the core of it. It's our collaboration. I think that there's like a through line you can identify in like our released music, but I think this is certainly an expansion. Yeah.
No, God.
Yeah. She was looking at me, and I should have known better. I should have passed her. Yeah.
Well, I'm glad everyone agrees with each other. And I don't know if you want to like keep the cards close to your chest in terms of, what these new songs have to offer, but do you feel like you said, there's this more recognizable through line? Do you feel like that manifests at all, like not even lyric wise, because I feel like your lyrics are so serendipitous, talking about cooking
I like that adjective for it.
and yeah, I know. While I was listening to you, I was like, I don't know what word I feel like suits the lyrics the most, but it like popped into my head, and I was like, that feels perfect. But do you feel like there's an overarching theme to the things you've decided to put out, or is it more so just like, these are songs that we've worked on and we like them,
I think with these songs, it's interesting. Like You Bend the Light, which is the second song that we played in this set, is like a song that is maybe the first like love song we've ever released. I don't think we've ever, but it's always like, I think all of our stuff, it's like they're about kind of, kind of common classic human themes: love, death, sex, things like that, right? But the other like part of it, I think, is always this alienation that we feel as a result of being in the United States, living in the economic conditions that we do, thinking about all of the ways that our psychologies interplay with like these realities and media consumption too. So I think that there's always going to be like a political affect to them. There's always going to be an emotional affect to them. And I think, I don't know, do you have any like feelings on like what connects these songs? Do you have any?
I don't know. Yeah, like I think each of the sort of like collections of recordings we've put out, like records or like an EP or something, they kind of, there's like a theme that like reveals itself over time or like through the collection of those songs. But I don't think we necessarily go in with any intent to, talk through something. And I think a lot of times we purposefully like obscure any sort of like messaging or even, sort of any like diaristic, like, oh, this is like a very obvious thing that happens in life. And like, I'm just basically giving you the minutes of my breakup or something, like that's not really how we approach it, I guess. And I think we've made moves at times, like lyrically, to, I think, try to be maybe a little bit more like tangible or relatable in terms of like, oh, it's not just this collection of images or something. But for me, when I write lyrics, I like just word pairings that sound, interesting together, and then try to make sense out of that. But I think all the themes that Joe spoke to are true across like all of our releases. So I don't know. Yeah, I think in the last few years, though, we've tried to be a little bit more like vulnerable with what we're discussing in the songs or something like that, and not put up quite as much of like an ironic armor or something to try to be like sassy and political or something.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, yeah.
And then in terms of your songwriting, do you feel like there's a formula that you've kind of gotten into, or is it just like people bring ideas and they're like, hey, I've been working on this riff and I feel like I have things floating around that would work with it? Is it more of like a jam thing where you just hang out and play together? What's that process like?
I feel like on this most recent batch of songs, I feel like Joe actually drove a lot of the song structure, or like bringing in the ideas. But I think historically and typically we will, bring in a fragment of an idea, or sometimes it's a little more developed as like a song structure. But it's rare, if ever, that we will like write a part for someone just to perform or play. So in that sense, I think we all trust each other. Like we've been playing together since 2016 or 17 or something. So we've played together, and we're just are really great friends outside of music too. So I think we trust one another to make good choices and are comfortable enough with one another to like offer an idea if something feels like it isn't working. So I don't know, Connor, what do you any thoughts on that as the drummer? I could never tell you what to play because I don't know how to play drums.
No, I think, you said it well. I think we we'll have fragments of ideas, but it's kind of like we'll develop, it's like we kind of like we'll try things a certain way, and if it's not that concreted way the first time, it's like we can like restructure things. And I feel like we all have like a sort of like same mentality of like, there's like elasticity in certain songs, and like obviously we'll just like trust each other's like gut impulses on things like that. But yeah, it's like I think over the years we've learned to like hone our like songwriting together as a group, which is like really special, I feel like. And it's just fun to write together collaboratively too.
Yeah, sweet. And you said you've been playing together since 2017. And I just am personally curious, how did the name Products Band come to be? Because I know the band part is also very important. I was like looking at your previous sessions here, and I was like, wait, because they don't say Products Band, they just say Products. And I was like, I know that's new-ish.
Yeah.
Okay.
It is new-ish. I think initially the name came out of wanting to be, I think, a little bit more like overtly political or speak to some sort of class dynamic or something like that, or kind of, I think be a little confrontational in just the like meaninglessness of that word too.
Yeah.
But over time, I think, I don't know what the motivation was fully. Like we were going to put out a new record. It felt like we were kind of turning a page in certain ways. And I think, frankly, too, just wanted to distance ourselves a little bit from the kind of like one word name post-punk band formula boring thing. And just try not to be associated with that, quite frankly.
Yeah, sure.
I also think too, saying like products band, it retains this alienation or like this acknowledgement that, you know, so many of the things that we do in this world are commodified, right? And to think about like kind of a playful way to engage with the reality that our friendship made manifest through this band is something that is like a product, right?
Yeah,
And I think that it's not, it makes us a little bit more culpable or involved in that process, which I think is conceptually more interesting too. And it's just a little sillier.
Yeah, true.
It was Google. It was because you couldn't Google us.
SEO until I die.
Yeah. Just for promotional purposes.
We're on every website.
And yeah, you were talking about before being able to share a stage with Deerhoof and Water from Your Eyes, which are both such amazing artists. And I'm just curious, who of any other bands that you've had the ability to share the stage with just like stick out in your mind as either people you got to discover through that or people who you just like enjoyed being around or hearing their music, what they have to offer?
Man, we've been pretty fortunate, honestly. I think immediately what comes to mind is when we got to play with Gang of Four. That was incredible. I mean, I can't like thinking about the guitar sounds on Entertainment and the rhythm section. Really, every member of that band just changed the way I think about music, and that was just a very wild experience. And then for a non-famous band, I would say when we were playing in Detroit last year, we played with this band called CC Nobody, and they're a two-piece, kind of like bridging elements of R&B and indie pop and even vocal jazz and amazing looping. Basically, their vocalist, he's this incredible singer, and he is not only playing a synthesizer, but he's also playing loops and then activating the loop station and laying down a whole like tapestry of sound. And then his partner is playing the drums, and it's like it's amazing. Like you should check out. This band CC Nobody exists. And I enjoyed playing with them.
I was going to say that band as well. Yeah, we were really smitten with that set for sure. Other than that, I think like we have been lucky to play with a lot of bands. I think we played with Dead like many years ago in the tiny room at Eagles Club, which was so funny now to like reflect on that, because they've just blown up big time. I don't know. I think something that I love though is just getting to go on tour, and that sort of discovery piece of it is a huge thing. I think where it's like maybe we know these people, or maybe it was kind of a cold call to just like get a show together. But you know, you can always be surprised and not just be like given some sort of like suggestion through a streaming service. So I like getting to just not know exactly what it's going to be like going in, and then see them. Any other big ones that we're missing?
I enjoyed playing with Squirrel Flower.
Yeah.
You can say it. You heard me.
Oh yeah.
She said we enjoyed playing with Squirrel Flower.
Yes.
In January. We did that, and that was quite fun.
Cool, yeah.
Well, in a similar vein, I get to ask you a fun question, which is you get to build a 4-group bill of your dreams, including you or not. I've given people that option. It's like, you don't have to play if you want to. You can just go
Audience
see
member or
bands that you
performer?
love. Yeah. Who are you choosing and why? And also you get to pick the venue, which is an important piece of the question.
The venue. Oh man. See, you say this is a fun question. This is actually extraordinarily
know.
difficult and high pressure.
I can see,
in a live
it's funny
environment.
whenever I ask it to people,
So
you
this
can
is
see the
sadistic.
like
This is
fear
something
on
you
their face.
enjoy. This is fun for you. It's like, okay, I get it. Oh man, what's coming to my mind right now, because you got John on my mind and you got me thinking about the awesome guitar music. Maybe we'll do it this way, so we can kind of issue your prompt a little bit. We each just get to choose one, because I think we all have similar tastes, but I think we would all make 4 very different bills. So I'll say my contribution to the Products Band collab bill would be Mary Halverson. Mary Halverson is my favorite guitarist, and I think that every time I've seen her live, she has revealed some new aspect of the instrument in a way that felt both cathartic and intellectual and approachable way, and deeply emotional, and I think she's a total genius. So I would say Mary, please.
Yeah, I think I would have to go with Yola Tango. They're like this band that I've listened to historically, and just like I'm always so smitten by each record because it has like such a sonic flavor, and they can really do everything from just like, like sheer quietness. You could like hear a pin drop to just like wall of sound, crazy like shoegaze stuff. And they're just very dynamic and just like a very like steadfast band that we're all into for the most part. And a couple years ago, I got to see them play in New York with they played with like a couple of other really great musicians. They do a thing where they play every night of Hanukkah at the Bowery Ballroom, and without knowing who would be performing with them, we were there, and like Steve Shelley from Sonic Youth was just drumming with them the whole night, and he's just like a fundamental inspiration for me. So that was like a very like, I'll always remember that show. And they're just like, they just do rad stuff, and they have like, such a cool mentality on things. So that's like for sure who I'd pick.
If we could use like actual magic to make it happen, I would probably want to play with Silver Jews. If magic was only like slightly involved, I would probably say Joanna Newsom, which would make for maybe an odd grouping or pairing with some of our music. But that's an idol of mine who I share a birthday with as well.
Whoa,
So we
that's
could
awesome.
share a slice of cake or something maybe after the show.
Kenny Hoopla is an artist I've been listening to a lot lately. But other than that, Turnstile would be neat. I just got into Turnstile. I don't know if y'all have heard of them.
You made it.
But yeah.
Glow on, babe.
But that Pavement movie is coming out, so maybe my answer will change once I see that, because I also don't like that band, but the movie might change my mind.
Total crime to say that you don't like Pavement, because Pavement is also could be an answer for me for that. And then at the venue, I'm at my house. That's the venue. How you like
perfect.
that?
Perfect.
Yeah, it is perfect. It's my house.
That's sweet. You just get to go right to bed after.
Yeah.
I'm not going to bed. I have a night like that. I'm staying up.
All right. Amazing answer. If that bill was real, I would be there for sure.
Amazing. I'd invite the whole town.
Perfect. Before you go, you want to let everyone know what you got coming up next.
Yeah, I'd be happy to let everybody know. Tonight, there is a show at the Southern Theater on Washington Avenue, very close to the University of Minnesota, where we will play our new songs. If you want to hear these 4 new songs, they will be played there. We put out a song on our Bandcamp page, which is productsband.bandcamp.com is a website you can visit, and our song Steady Sugarless is streaming there for free. And then we also have heard that if you'd like to, if Instagram is something that is available, there is a profile there called products.band. and it's on that application. It's available there. So those are all of the things that are available in this world in the paradigm of Products Band.
Amazing. Well, thanks for letting everyone know.
Anytime.
And thank you so much for coming in, playing, chatting. I've had so much fun.
Me too. Thank you.
Of course. You have been listening to Products Band here on Off the Record on Radio K, Real College Radio.